Okay, so next up we have with us Sarah Hill. Maybe we're cousins, I don't know. I'm Selena Hill, we have Sarah Hill. She is the CEO of Bookstr, a media company for book lovers. She's joined by journalist Bobbie Rebell, who is the author of the book, How to Be a Financial Grownup. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, friends. We all know each other here.
I'm now just meeting Selena.
Yes.
Everybody else, we go way back.
Yes, we do.
We never know. We could be. We could be. We could be. We are.
I love that.
Definitely.
So actually, my partner read your entire book in one sitting. He loved it that
Thank you
much. So a
so
shout
much.
out to you, Hugo.
Thank you.
He was like, you
Yes.
gotta tell this lady that I really like her.
Thank you so much.
He's
Oh my
gotten
God.
used to like every book in my pile is signed. So he's realizing that, that I actually know these people. Yes.
Yes, you're very connected, David. Very connected. And I love Sarah because she puts it right here so everyone can see it.
Yes.
Amazing.
The Bookstr audience,
Yes.
I think you guys will remember
Yes.
How to Be a Financial Grown-Up, and Bobbie.
Yes,
she
I was
on
on one
our
of
show.
your Facebook shows.
Yeah,
Like maybe
very
was it your
first.
first?
think
I was
you
the
were
first one. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we love to
And I'm
start
on this
all
first
things with
one.
Bobbie. I know. You're a good luck charm.
Thank you.
Yes.
How?
Okay, so we had some talking points. Our first, what we want to discuss today was how to survive your first job. So
Yes.
I think that you are an expert in this situation, and
Yes.
I actually come to you for
Oh.
job advice, and
We all need job advice.
we all need jobs.
So many job advice. We all do. Absolutely.
So we have like some talking points kind of like worked around this. So
Yes.
what do you think you can do to survive your first job? I know it's kind of a hot topic right now for millennials, especially those just entering the workforce. What can they do?
Well, first of all, let's just say how great it is that they are entering the workforce, because now it's a good time to be coming into the workforce and looking for a job, and you actually have some leverage with pay, and you may have choices of jobs. So this is a great time actually to be entering the workforce, and we should all be really happy about that.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to be present in your job and really focus on making a good first impression, and remembering that this is not necessarily an extension of college. These are not your friends. You're being paid to be there, and it's important to be on point and be focused and make a good impression, even if you think you may be out the door in a year or 2 years. While you're there, be really present, and remember you're paid to do a job for them, and at least from their impression, it's for them, and to focus on what's good for them. Internally, though, it's about you, right? So the best thing you can do for you,
Duality.
no, but look, the best thing you can do for you in your first job is to focus on what you're going to get out of it, because it's part of your education in that sense. So, for example, my first job was at CNBC. Not only did I learn the production assistant stuff, I also looked at what I could get out of it for free. Like, they paid for me to go and get a certificate in financial planning, and so that was free, and I was able to do that, on the weekends and take advantage of those programs. So immediately look for what's in it for me, while always doing the best job you can and making a great impression.
Absolutely.
Beginning of your professional network also.
Yeah.
One thing I'm hearing, a common theme, is that you should be your authentic self at work. But I find that doesn't always work. Like, I was a little too authentic one time. So can we talk about the borderline? Because, you can't really be yourself, can you?
No, you cannot be yourself, and it's something you need to watch even on social media. I mean, you need to be sensitive to the fact that people can read what you're doing on the weekends and stuff. Your boss might be your friend on social media or whatever it may be, and you need to be aware of the impression that you're making. They're not your work friends, your friend Lee with them. Some of them will evolve to be your friends. But think about it. If you were to leave this job, who will I still actively call to make plans with? Do I really authentically see these people on the weekend because I'm deliberately making plans, or because of circumstance related to the job? So be wary of that, because it's not the same as your college friends or your friends from high school or whatever it may be. They're your work colleagues, and it is different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that goes like across the channel. I have to be really careful about the things that I say too. And I'm the CEO. So I think like once you hit a certain level, you kind of have to really realize like, okay, I'm friends with these people on Facebook. They're also investing in my company, and I need to make sure that they know that I'm not out, getting wasted on the weekends or like doing whatever, doing something that would hurt.
Less is more with social media.
Less is
people.
more.
Agreed.
Yes, or you be really good at those privacy settings.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
That's another thing too. Especially
embrace
like
privacy settings
interns
for sure.
now. Interns, before we hire them, the first thing I do is I go and look at their website. I go and look on social media, and I'm like, okay, what are they interested in that isn't applicable to this job? Like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And that has been pretty revealing.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who was working at Sirius Radio at one time, and he almost declined hiring an intern even after they wanted to bring him on because he saw all of the profanity he was using on social media. And I had to tell him, I was like, he's young. I think you should still bring him on. You can groom him. But he said that was definitely a red flag. So I tell my mentees, and whenever I'm having a speaking engagement, I tell young people all the time, watch what you say. It's very important to employers.
Yeah. And I would say be coachable too. But, I think that's a big one is.
Right. Well, that goes to, what are you getting out of it? I mean, you should look at it not only as maybe getting free educational courses and things like that, but also, you're going to set up your professional network. Find yourself a mentor, somebody that maybe will take you with them if they leave and go somewhere better. They move up, they bring you with them. I know my husband has people that have been with him for years that he's taken from job to job, and they make wonderful teams together. And it can really be valuable to have those bonding relationships early in your career. There are people I've gone back to. When I was writing this book, I went back to a news anchor that I worked for, Susie Garib, years ago, and got her involved and got her help and so on. And many other people that I've known from much earlier in my career still am in touch with and still helping each other. And it becomes more of a mutual relationship as you get older. When you start, they're helping you, you're the protege, but then as you get older, you become more equal. You'd be surprised how many people I worked for that then work for me. So it's really important to form those early relationships.
So tell us, this first job thing, you're the author of How to Be a Financial Grownup. What do you do with the sudden rush of money? Because this is the first time suddenly that
you suddenly get income.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not student debt or mommy and daddy money.
Exactly. Well, it was the coolest thing when I got my first actual paycheck from a job because it seemed so big, and I was living at home at the time, and I had all these internships, which now it's a lot better. A lot of internships pay, but at the time, none of my internships, I was an intern at WNBC. They didn't pay me. CNN didn't pay me. And so I suddenly had all this money. You need to bank it and buy real estate. That's my personal opinion. Assuming you don't have the student debt and those kind of things.
I think that's good advice.
But I really advocate live at home for a certain amount of time. And I talk about my financial grown-up moment at age 23. I was able to buy a home because I just banked my money from age 15 on. It wasn't just that 1 year living at home. But if you bank your money and just watch your overhead, you can save a down payment pretty easily if you have no rent.
And then do you invest in the home? Like, do you try and flip it or make it better? Or do you because what if you lose money on that?
Okay, well, that gets tricky. That gets into the real estate. That's a big question, Sarah. That gets into everyone has to live their own life.
23. How do you know where to buy? And
I think you have to figure out, do you want to stay in the same place? I was from New York, so I had a pretty good idea that I was going to stay in the New York area. If you think you're going to move, then you need to think carefully, do I really want to own? You could own and maybe create an investment from it, because once you move out, you could then rent it out. And then you've got nice passive income happening while you're paying rent in another city, and maybe you come back to New York or whatever city you're in. So I'm always an advocate for owning, but you can go with the circumstances of what happens to you. I ended up living in that first apartment, I think, for 7-8 years, and I did pretty well on it, and that formed the basis for flipping it and flipping, and now I'm in my third or fourth apartment, and I have a family-size apartment from that.
We have a comment on Facebook. This is all assuming you don't have student debt. That's from Ben.
Well, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly, and that's what David.
That is correct.
Out.
Very good point.
Yeah, knock down that debt first. Absolutely. Oh, so still, have an emergency fund. You can divide things up. It doesn't have to be all extreme. But if you're living at home, he's absolutely right. The best thing to do, knock down the debt first, because you can
knock
do
it
so
down
much.
Slowly, like if it's like
as fast as possible, Sarah.
No matter
of course.
Okay.
Get it out the way.
Get it done, because you know what? Here's the thing: when you're young, you think that you have so little money because your salary's low, but you forget that life will get in the way. So maybe you'll have a kid, or you'll have other expenses that will come your way. So actually, when you're younger is the easiest time. You actually, in a way, have the most disposable income, because you don't have that other really big grown-up stuff. Oh my God. But you don't have that. You're not saving for a kid's college tuition.
That's true.
You're not doing that stuff
Who said anything about kids?
What about your nephews, David?
That's my brother's
We'll find someone's tuition for you to pay. Don't worry.
So, Bobbie, when do you know you are a financial grown-up? Like, how do you know you crossed that mark?
And I think we're all always evolving. I mean, I will say that I'm the original grown-up, but there's stuff I do all the time that is definitely not grown-up. We all make mistakes. So you have to just go with it and forgive yourself. And also, don't be judgy about other people. People make mistakes. People do the best they can. And sometimes people just are, it's circumstances. Some people graduate school with a ton of student debt. So don't be judgy about them if they're, making choices to be responsible about that. Or maybe they just kind of need a break and, splurge and make a mistake and charge something on their credit card. So they'll deal with it. They'll pay it off. It'll work out. We have to kind of be more supportive of each other and just go with it, because there's always things that are going to whack you when you least expect them.
Yeah.
It's about resilience. That's like a good word. Resilience, right?
Yeah, that's a great word.
And evolving and learning.
But each of us has a story of how we became a grown-up. I
Yes.
mean, I
Are
think
you
of
going?
you.
Does that mean you're going to share yours, David?
No, I was going to ask Sarah about hers. No, I'm the journalist. I'd rather ask the questions. So I'm sure you know all about that, Bobbie.
What is
It's asking the questions, right?
What is my financial grown-up moment?
Yeah.
I've had a few enlightenments over the years. I think my first one was right out of school. I had no money. I was getting paid like $20,000 a year for my first job in Oklahoma City. And I was looking for an apartment, and I saw this very shiny apartment that was $1,000 a month. And I was like, oh, okay, I will eat ramen noodles for the next year. That's okay. I'll do it. And so I signed for the apartment, and then I was like, so broke, unbelievably broke. I took out a credit card, ended up having to pay off that credit card over 4 years because of, I bought a sofa and I bought like all these things that now I ended up selling when I moved to New York. And so I'm just like, what an idiot. But I was young and I was hopeful. Then I moved into another house that was much more in my budget, but infested with roaches.
But now is the ultimate, because she lives rent-free, so that's a true genius of a CEO.
Yeah, Sarah has this great loft in Soho. Is that NoHo or Soho? I think it's Soho.
It's Soho.
Where you live-work situation.
Yes, it is a live-work situation, which means I am working all the time, and also, living a little as well. So it's been nice. Yeah, it's been super nice. I don't have to worry about bills, and more than anything, just making sure that my taxes are accounted for.
That's resilience. I mean, your story is definitely a story of resilience. You messed up, you overextended, you were paying too much rent, you splurged on furniture, but you got out of it. You moved on. Yeah. That's okay.
One takeaway for the youth of the world, Bobbie. Tell them, how do they be a financial grown-up?
Get it together. Just face whatever is coming at you, whether it's student debt or, finding the right job or learning to save, and actually do it. I mean, that's the hard thing, is to take the time. And what I'm now telling people is, because life gets in the way, is really, put it on your calendar and take a half a day and make an assessment of whatever's going on, and then automate as much as possible. So whether it's Wealthfront, Betterment, Wella, all these different companies that have ways for you to automate savings, get it together, take the time, set up a system, and then live your life.
And
Absolutely.
you said, speaking of friends who wrote books, you said you had another friend who read a book.
Oh, yes, we want to congratulate. Yes, Erin Lowry. It is her pub day, so yay, Erin. We'll be celebrating with her later. And I don't know if we have a picture of her book. There it is. Broke Millennial. She has an amazing blog, and it was picked up as a book. And I actually blurbed this book because I love it so much. It's already a huge hit, and everyone should check it out.
And Lynette Califani-Cox is one of my mentors.
Oh, building your career network.
Very small world.
Your early
I saw her name on
career.
the cover, so I'm going to have to get a copy of that book.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for stopping by,
Thank you,
ladies.
ladies.
It's always a pleasure. We hope to have you back.
Having us for sure.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.